is Quenton Hurst, and for my Stat 101 data collection project, I decided to ask the question of, do you believe in true love to the students of Williams College? So my sampling population was Williams College students, and the variables that I collected were for quantitative age, which was from 18 to 22, and for categorical, I collected their sex, whether or not they believed in true love, and whether or not they were in a relationship. I realize now that I didn't really stack my variables very evenly, and that I did a heavy amount of categorical in comparison to quantitative, and that was a little bit of a hiccup for me when I tried to do my part 2 of the data project, where I tried to do histograms, box plots, and a comparison where I did a regression analysis on categorical variables, which didn't end up working out. And I was stuck with actually only being able to do bar graphs for part 2 of my data collection. So my sampling method and approach was an in-person, opt-in sampling method. I walked to Scout, Sawyer, Peresky, and asked people during my choir rehearsal whether or not they believed in true love, and just went down the list of variables that I had listed for you on the previous slide. It was conducted on February 14th, Valentine's Day. In retrospect, this may have been mean to ask these questions on those days, especially for people who were not in a relationship. And I was honestly surprised to find how many people here in Williams believed in true love of my sample, where I had 21 said yes and 9 said no. And then the inverse was true for relationships, whether or not they were involved in one. 9 said yes and 21 said no. So here are some bar graphs just of my findings, just to give you a picture illustration of what I found there. So here's the 9 that say no and the 21 that say yes for believing in true love. And then this is also just another visualization of the surprising results that I had found. So I did a one proportion z-test on this data that I had found, and my hypothesis was that, hey, only 10% of students in my population, in my sampling population, would probably believe in true love. I don't really give Williams a lot of credit for people believing in true love or being romantic. And my alternative hypothesis was that I would have a proportion of students that actually are greater than 10% that believe in true love. And so I actually found that after conducting my test that I got a p-value of 1. Now recall that in R it only calculates up to your cutoff, all the way up to your cutoff, and everything below it. But I was only doing a one-sided alternative hypothesis test, so that means that I was only interested in looking at data above the cutoff. So if I have a value of 1 for my p-value, that means that I'm almost all the way here on my normal plot. And so I'm only interested in what's above that. So I would got a p-value really of almost 0, meaning that I could confidently reject my null hypothesis that only 10% of students at Williams or less could actually believe in true love. Now, part 3. I'm conducting a chi-squared test of homogeneity, where I believe that initially going into the project that honestly people who believe in true love would also be involved in a relationship, and I thought that these proportions would be the same. So I conducted a test of homogeneity, and I found a value of 0.1394, which means that I cannot reject my null, meaning that they are not the same actually. They are very different in their proportions, and I know that now I cannot determine that they are the same. I'm still working on this part of the project, and it's still a work in progress. So I'm still analyzing standard residual values. It appears that the no and no are a little different, but I'm not sure as of yet. I can't really make this a representative sample because of all the sampling methods that I employed. I should have done randomization, and now I know that this is not really representative. Thank you for listening.